We've been told that we just have to brace ourselves for the terrible twos or hang on for the threenager years, that we have to survive toddlerhood. And if we can just get through that phase, like it's a storm you have to wait out. But here's what most people don't realize. Toddler behavior isn't random chaos that you have to survive. And it isn't your child turning into someone difficult. It's actually development happening loudly. So the better question isn't how do I survive this? How am I going to get through? It's what is actually happening here? I want to zoom out and ask, is this normal? Let's talk about what's normal. 2, 3, and 4-year-olds are in a massive wiring phase. Their language is exploding, their independence is growing, their awareness is expanding, but the emotional and impulse control systems are still very, very immature and in development, so you get a really big mismatch. You get big feelings and small regulation, a big desire for independence, and a very small ability to management. That mismatch is completely normal. I'll even say it's expected. And here's something very important. As the world gets bigger each year, the demands increase faster than the wiring does. And that's why behavior often feels louder at 3 than it did at 2, and louder at 4 than it did at 5. Not because anything went wrong, but because life began asking more than they had the skills for. Now let's take a look at a 2-year-old. They are discovering autonomy. I do it. No, mine. That pushback isn't disrespect. It's identity forming. Emotional regulation is extremely early. Impulse control, almost non-existent. So meltdowns over small things, yeah, completely normal. Running, grabbing, throwing, normal, normal, normal. It's all developmentally normal. Now here's what often surprises parents. An easy 2-year-old can become a 3 you barely recognize. Not because your child changed personalities, but because 3 comes with more language, more imagination, more social awareness. They understand more, they imagine more, they want more control. But those can-do skills are still under construction. So when life asks for turn-taking, waiting, transitioning, cooperating, the wiring can't always handle it because the routes to those spots haven't been parked. So power struggles, common. Explosive reaction when something doesn't go their way, normal. Their world got bigger and their skills didn't grow at the same speed. And when life asks more than a child can handle, behavior fills the gap. Let's talk about a 4-year-old. 4-year-olds obviously have more language, more awareness. Sometimes they even have glimpses of emotional regulation. They might have partially built parking spots. They know how to calm down sometimes. They know the rules. They can sometimes explain what happened, which is exactly why it can feel worse when they fall apart. You might see bigger opinions, longer arguments, stronger reactions, boundary testing, not because they're manipulative, but because they're experimenting with independence using skills that are only partially wired in. And here's the piece almost no one explains. If that car, that behavior car keeps circling and it never really learns where to park, that car does not disappear. It circles and circles the lot until it runs out of gas. And it will stall out, creating a jammed up parking lot. If frustration tolerance wasn't strengthened at 2, it's going to feel louder at 3. If emotional regulation isn't learned and practiced at 3, it explodes more dramatically at 4. The behavior isn't getting worse, the demands are increasing, but the wiring hasn't caught up yet. Let's layer in temperament, because temperament is a real thing and it changes how this shows up. So a strong-willed child may argue louder. A sensitive child may melt down harder. A cautious little one may cling more. Temperament will change the volume and the style, but it doesn't change which skills are needed. Every brain still needs all the can-do skills, the emotional regulation, the frustration tolerance, the impulse control. Remember, temperament determines how it expresses, not if it needs building. Here's the part that matters. Normal, just because these behaviors are normal, doesn't mean we ignore it. It means it's expected while the skills are developing. If you assume maturity alone will wire in that skill and teach that car where to park, you leave development up to chance. If you understand what skill is under construction, you can build it intentionally. That's the difference. We don't brace, we build. So when you hear the terrible twos, it prepares you for chaos. When you hear, oh, just skills under construction, it gives you relief and some direction. Toddlerhood isn't something to survive or just a phase to get through. It's something to shape. And when you understand what's developmentally happening, fear drops and clarity appears. Not because the behavior disappeared, but because it actually makes sense. If this helped you breathe a little easier, stay in this playlist. In the next video, we're going to talk about something almost no one says out loud. And that is what your child needs far more than academics. Because once you understand that, you'll see toddlerhood very differently. I'll see you in the next video.